Welcome to my home. I'm going to take you through the Memory Master notes that I emailed you to help you see if your student is ready to accomplish that goal this year. Who is a Memory Master? A child who has memorized 100% of the current year's memory work as found in the Classical Conversations Foundations Curriculum, 5th edition, and is able to recite it 100% with the parent, the tutor, and the Foundations director. Memory Master is a process. You'll work on the memory work diligently for many months. The child will demonstrate mastery in 3 proofs, each one about a week apart. Each proof needs to be passed to move on to the next one. Mastery versus perfection. A student's recitation of all the cycle's memory work should be effortless. Effortless recitation is the goal, but grace is also important. You will know if your student is ready to take on Memory Master if they're engaged, if they are asking to go for the goal. Try not to push it if the student is not ready, because that's really important. The purpose of Memory Master is to encourage and reward demonstrations of excellence in subject memorization and recitation, which are 2 skills that will serve students well along their educational journeys. The first proof to see if your student is ready is the parent. You will proof them around weeks 22 and 23. 100% of the memory work is recited, no more than 1 mistake per subject. Use summary proof sheets in the Foundations Guide. Cycle 1 should be on page 58 through 71. The second proof is with your child's tutor. On weeks 23 and 24, 100% of the memory work is recited, no mistakes. Should take about an hour and a half, should come easily to the student. You will use the summary proof sheets in the Foundations Guide on page 58 through 71. The third proofing is done with the director on week 25. Sampling of questions from all subjects, just about 25% of the memory work, absolutely no mistakes by the student, and it should take about 20 minutes. I will be using the summary proof sheets that are found in the Foundations Guide, again on pages 58 through 71. Subjects. Let's start with the subject timeline. As for the parent and the tutor, they will ask your student to start at the beginning, and your student will recite the entire timeline. And there will be no music. You cannot use any visual or oral prompts. It can be spoken or sung. When it gets to week 24 and your student has to recite the presidents, they start at the beginning of with the first president. Again, no visual or oral prompts. It can be spoken or sung. History. The student will be asked to tell me about Hinduism and Buddhism in India, and the student should be able to recite that history sentence either by just speaking it, or they can sing the CC song that they have learned in class. Geography. The heading is not required for the student to memorize, or for example, let's look at week 5. It is labeled Egyptian Empire. That is not required to remember. What is required is Egypt, Nile River, Upper Lower Egypt, Nile River Delta. And so for geography, we will have a black line mastery map only. We will ask the student to show me or tell me where Egypt is, the Nile River, Upper Lower Egypt, the Nile River Delta. And the student will simply have, the black line master map and will point to the locations that we asked them for. Latin. Your student will be asked to tell me first declension noun endings, and etc. They will recite it, sing it, or they can spell it. The parent and tutor proof, they will only be proofed once on that. The director proof for Latin will have to be the entire of Latin for cycle 1. They will have to recite that to the director. English grammar. English grammar for cycle 1 are the prepositions and verbs. Your student will recite the entire list. Science. Question is the prompt. For example, week 1, what are the classifications of living things? The student will answer the question in a full sentence or repeats the question and recites the list. The list does not have to be set in order. So for example, what are the classifications of living things? The classifications of living things are domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. The student does not have to list them. That is not an order. They can just, as long as they get all of those, then they got it. Math. If your student is under 10, they can skip count the numbers. If your child is 10 by January 1st, they are required to recite the multiplication table. So for example, skip count the 13s. Your student will need to say 13 times 1 is 13. 13 times 2 is 26, and so on and so forth. All students can skip count squares and cubes. The headings for conversions do not need to be memorized. Best practice is an oral recitation of all math memory work. So how do you get started in preparing your student to become a memory master? First, let your child's tutor know that your child will be studying to become a memory master. It needs to be a part of every school day where you practice with your student. Students need to be doing additional practice on their own. There is not enough time for us moms throughout the day to be drilling as much or as often as needed to gain mastery. My advice for your student, keep the information out. Keep it available at their fingertips so that they can just graze through it and read it, maybe even write out the history sentences, write out all those math equations, and just find ways and tricks for helping your student gain the mastery of memorization. There are lots of CC mamas out there that have the time and the energy, and they have wonderful blogs that give you insightful tips to encourage your student to become a memory master. Check out those blogs and see what others have done and how their students were successful in the little memorization tricks that they shared. While the students have to own the desire for it, we need to set an environment where it's important. Prioritize it in their school schedule, drill it with them, and help them through the emotional and mental hurdles they will hit. We set the pace and help them manage this journey. If you have any questions about Memory Master, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me. You can email me, call me, text me. Heck, I'm even on Marco Polo, so go ahead and send me a video message to help you answer those questions that you have. I know from firsthand experience how tough it is to go for Memory Master. I personally didn't go for Memory Master, but this one right here did. Last year, Joy approached me. Actually, the end of week 12, and she had stated that she really wanted to go for Memory Master. I just wasn't ready to help her along with that, and I was honest with her. I said, Joy, I don't know if you can go for Memory Master. Mom doesn't have the time. And I really felt bad for telling her that, but I wanted to be honest and open with her of the expectations of that it takes to become Memory Master. It wasn't until the following year, Joy approached me again. She kept actually pestering me. I say pestering, but she kept asking me, Mom, I want to go for Memory Master. Mom, I want to go for Memory Master. And I clearly remember when Mrs. Dingley had said, hey, it's time to get serious about Memory Master. I started to think, why am I discouraging this? And I've heard Joy repeat the memory work, and I thought, she can do this. So with maybe like 4 to 5 weeks until she was going to have a tutor proof, we worked hard. And I say we because I did help her, but she also did the majority of the work, putting in the time and the effort to memorize Cycle 3 last year. I was able to find things online to help her, went on CC Connected. CC Connected had become my best friend those last few weeks, just to help her to learn a lot of the history sentences and some of the math equations. Actually, the tutors, what they had showed her in class, she really used a lot of that to help just again memorize all those the grammar work. CC Connected was a great tool that we used. We found songs and like different kind of cards, like kind of like flashcards for like the Latin, and we really use CC Connector quite a bit. And another thing that we really gleaned from was Joy's tutor, and just the songs that her tutor had shared with her during New Grammar. You know, Joy really took to that, and she used that to help her memorize a lot of those history sentences. So definitely, parents, look to those tutors. They do a grand job each Tuesday morning during New Grammar, during review, heck, during the whole day. Those tutors are fabulous. So definitely ask those tutors for help, like where do they get some of their chants or hand motions. Definitely, you know, go to them for some help. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it was of great help to you, and just praying for blessings in your homeschooling. So how was it to do Memory Master?
Awesome.
Awesome. There you go.